Hey guys. All right. So today is March 7th, Saturday, and yesterday, March 6th, was San Jack John's latest trip report. So confirm with me. Sanjacjon.com is SanJacjon, sanjacjon.com. Go to there, look at that trip report, and this is considerations for your equipment based on being at Campo either today or until the next trip report, until I can get you more information. So based on today, March 7th, this is your equipment. Send your bear can to either Kennedy Meadows South or to Lone Pine. More on that in a little bit and why. And then send your ice axe by priority mail, not or priority variable rate, not by priority flat rate. Send your ice axe to Idlewild Post Office, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. And then your microspikes, you have three choices. You can carry them with you from Campo. You can send them to PVC, Paradise Valley Cafe, at mile 151, or you can send it as a separate package to Idlewild Post Office or any of the Idlewild places that you're going to stay. And there's a reason why that one you don't have to send to a post office. So let's go back to the bear cans. If you are leaving right now, you are still in that window where Horseshoe Meadows Road may be closed. Oftentimes it'll be open by the time you get there. If Horseshoe Meadows Road is open, then almost always the campground above it, Cottonwood Campground, is open. And at that Cottonwood Campground is going to be, from the PCT, is going to either be multi-pass or trail pass. If there's a lot of water, you can take either one. If there's little water, multi-pass tends to be a steeper of a climb, a little bit longer of a climb, but has more water on it. So trail pass is what most people take into Cottonwood Campground, down Horseshoe Meadows Road to Lone Pine. Bear can carry miles start at mile 751 as you enter Seki, Seki, Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park, and that is at mile 751. Kennedy Meadows South is at mile 703. So there's approximately 42 miles till multi-pass or trail pass to get into Lone Pine that you will save not only as a cheaper resupply in Lone Pine, but also a less of a bear can carry, because you can start carrying from Cottonwood Pass and or multi-pass or trail pass, whichever one you take to get back to the PCT. All of those passes, trails will go to Cottonwood Campground, and all of those will be accessed through Horseshoe Meadows Road in a Lone Pine. So that's why you want to send your bear can to Kennedy Meadows South if the road is still closed, or to Lone Pine if the road is open. Usually those with a start date a month from now will all be able to send their bear cans to Lone Pine if you want. The advantage to sending your bear can to Lone Pine is that you will be able to take 2 more days of food into the Sierra, and that includes Mount Whitney and Forester Pass before you get to Kearsarge Pass. And so what those 2 days allows you to do is either trail zeros in the arguably the most beautiful part of the entire trail, or a second attempt at Whitney if, for instance, it's going to be cloudy or rainy and you won't get a view at Mount Whitney at the top. Then you can wait another day or even 2 days if you had that much food with you, which if you started from Kennedy Meadows, you would have a bear can carry for all those miles, and or you would be 2 days, 2.5 days less food. All right, now back to the ice axes. The reason why you want to send your priority box variable rate to Idlewild Post Office is because if you're nice to the post office people, when you get there, you can bounce that box forward. You can reroute it forward to Kennedy Meadows or to Wrightwood. A little bit more on that later, but if you generally don't need your ice axe at San Jack, I doubt you'll need your ice axe at Wrightwood for Baden Powell. So send your ice axe by priority variable rate to Idlewild Post Office. And then when you get there, and if you don't need it, be super nice to the postmasters, who are super nice back, and bounce that package that is unopened to Kennedy Meadows. That's the reason why you want to do that with your ice axe. You will almost always need your microspikes. So that's why you can either carry your microspikes, bring it to PVC, send it to PVC, Paradise Valley Cafe. So Paradise Valley Cafe is a restaurant. Any of your businesses won't be able to bounce your package forward because it has arrived. For instance, if your package arrives at my house, I can't bring it back to the post office and then bounce it wherever for free. I would have to pay an additional rate to send it somewhere else. So if you send your package to a hotel or to a business, a restaurant in this case, then you will not be able to bounce it forward. So the different rules apply. So in any way, no matter how nice you are to the Paradise Valley Cafe staff, which I highly recommend because they're super nice. But anyway, send that to Paradise Valley Cafe, send that with your ice axe to the post office, but then you'll have opened your package up, so you won't be able to reroute your ice axe. Or send it separately to the post office, or carry it with you. So you have your several choices with your microspikes, but you will most likely have your microspikes. So those are for the people who have their equipment. If you don't have your equipment, then don't worry about your bear can until you get to Wrightwood-ish. You still have plenty of time to worry about that. I would worry about your first 400 miles. Usually by the time you get to about 300 miles Big Bear, then you can start worrying about what's going on. But I want you to survive the first 300 miles before you start planning what's going to happen after 700 miles at this point, if you don't have your bear can with you already. If you don't have your ice axe and or microspikes, then look into the Trevor program, the Trek for Trevor program that is run. They will send your microspikes and or your ice axe to Paradise Valley Cafe, and then you can pick it up there, and they will sell it to you at a discount. So I highly recommend that. The other thing you can do is stop by Two Foot Adventures in Julian at 277 and recheck the conditions, trail conditions, because they might be able to sell you your equipment for less expensive based on the conditions. So in any case, make sure that you are capable of getting at least your microspikes by the time you start climbing San Jacinto, which is going to be Idlewild or PVC, or make sure to grab your that'll be your microspikes, and then make sure that you will be able to obtain an ice axe. So here's my two things that I like to think about when it comes to critical gear that I absolutely need. For instance, my ice axe or my microspikes. I want to think of the headache that is associated with having my equipment elsewhere where I actually need it here. That headache versus the headache of having my equipment with me and not needing it and sending it forward. To me, the second headache of having my equipment with me and needing it forward is a much easier headache to deal with than the headache that is involved with, now what do I do when I need my equipment and my equipment is sent forward on trail. So I like to think of it that way, and that's the reason why I gave you these considerations for this time frame. So this will definitely change with the next San Jack John trip report. Safe travels, guys. Can't wait to meet you. Cheers.